Welcome everybody to another Carleton Film Society live movie discussion. Today we'll be discussing Nomadland. And first off, we'll just give a brief introduction of who we are. So I'm Beatrice. I'm a second year in Carleton at Media Production and Design, and I'm also the head of production at CFS.
Hi, I'm Stéphanie. I'm a third year, almost fourth now because we're kind of finished at this point, the third year. So third-ish fourth of communication studies and film studies. And I'm part of the Carleton Film Society, just helping out with events such as this one and a lot of different other promotional events. So today we're going to talk about Nomadland, so that's exciting. Beatrice, do you want to just give a little bit of a summary, spoiler-free?
Oh, yeah. All right, so this is like a brief summary from the internet that I found. So this is about Nomadland. A woman in her 60s who, after losing everything in the Great Recession, embarks on a journey through the American West, living as a van-dwelling modern-day nomad. So that's like a little brief introduction of what Nomadland is about. Everything after this will be with spoilers, so go ahead, watch the film, and come back when you've seen it, and put your comments down below, and we're happy to read them and reply to them as well. So I guess we can jump right into it with our first initial thoughts about the film. What did you think about it?
Overall, I think it's just, I was expecting a lot from it just because when I watched it, it was few weeks before the Oscars, and it was just, everyone was talking about it. Critics and Chloe Zhao kept winning awards for directing and left and right, pretty much every award. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna come in this, and I had kind of high expectations. So when I watched the film, I felt like it was a little bit empty. I was a little bit disappointed about Nomadland. I was a little bit like, that was it. That was the movie. That was the movie that everyone's talking about, but. It's more mainly because it's a very slow film, but there is a lot of meaning to it. There's a lot of different depth into the story, and there's a lot of things that I think we'll go into it a little bit more, but just the use of non-professional actors was just so well done in this film. And going to the movie knowing that, it gave a lot more depth to it overall. So I really liked it overall. Like, I liked it, but it was a little bit empty. It was a meh kind of film. What do you think, Beatrice?
Yeah, I agree with the slow pacing. That's what the first thing that jumped out to me when I first watched this. I was like thinking at moments I was kind of bored. I was like, this is how they live. But I think the pacing of the film is very much related to what the life of a nomad is. It's not always like on the go. There are moments of like quietness. You're not really doing much. So I think I appreciate that now, like I watched it the second time. The editing, I was like noticing that like, okay, maybe that's how it's related to against all the American like hustle grind and always keep on working and having to maintain relationships. So I think that the movie strips away all that distractions and just focuses on Fern as a person and all the people that you meet on the way. So yeah, I think like at start I was like, oh yeah, this is it. Like this is what I get from a movie that's being talked about a lot. But as you see it, it's like, okay, I can appreciate it now for the deep meanings that you mentioned before.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the whole film, it's marketed as this American modern nomad life. But I don't know, I felt like it was a little bit yes and no. Like, yes, it is that, but it's also very painted with a certain kind of fiction of seeing it through Fern's point of view. And I don't know, I thought it didn't really show enough of the struggles of what it is to be a nomad, and it focused a lot more on just, I think, a little bit more the romanticized version of what a nomad is considered. I don't know. I guess we'll go more into it. What did you think of kind of how it was brought up, the nomad situation? What did you think about all that?
I think for me, I didn't really know much about what the life of a nomad is. So I think like watching it for the first time, that kind of lifestyle terrified me, just being by yourself, like in this van in the middle of nowhere. And that scene of when she had a flat tire and she was with a Swanky, the one with a broken arm. She was with a flat tire, and it's like she could have died out there, but at least she had someone to show her how to get another tire. But if I were to put myself in that situation, it's like, oh, I'm in the middle of nowhere. Like the next person close to me is like miles away. So I think it was interesting, like hearing all their stories about how to, like, why they chose to be a nomad, coming from always like working your whole life, like what Linda May talked about. Even though she worked her whole life, she wasn't able to protect herself like on the road, or like she wasn't what am I gonna say? She wasn't able to in retirement. She wasn't able to support herself in retirement. So I think it was interesting to hear a little bit about their stories. But did you think that it wasn't like it could have represented the nomad's life a little bit better, or how was it romanticized in your opinion?
Yeah. So I think I looked a lot after the film of some reviews on compared to the book, because this is an adaptation.
Right.
So it's an adaptation from a book that's kind of made like a kind of documentary, a little bit how this film is made as well. It kind of documents a little bit what a nomad life is, but through a fictional character. But some of the characters in the book, which are real people, such as Linda May and Swanky, and that's why Chloe Zhao decided to cast them, even if they're not professional actors, because they are actors-ish in the book, but they're just documentary actors. So that's kind of the way that the book is set up, which is kind of how she made the film as well, which is kind of interesting and well done. But I think what was so special about the film was listening to those real stories. That's what made the movie stand out to me. So whether it's just Swanky or Linda May just telling how they're living, a little bit how the book is portraying them, but the fact that it's real people, real nomads, I think that was very interesting. But something that was kind of omitted that was very present in the books is the way that capitalism is really affecting these people. So yes, it kind of touches on the financial aspects of Fern with her husband losing her job, kind of like it really reminded me of Flint and the way that Michael Moore presented in what's that movie? Roger and Me. Exactly. It really reminded me of that story. So that they really did that well, and they also talk about like other financial things, but they don't really talk about the hard labor market is when you're a nomad. So, it just shows that, she goes to work at Amazon, then she goes to work at this restaurant, she goes to work at these other jobs, but it doesn't really talk about the financial issues and financial struggles linked to it. So that's one of the things that the book really focuses upon, such as working at Amazon, how it's such hard labor and it's crazy hour days, and it's only paid like $15 an hour, and it's apparently very, very hard labor. But and a lot of people get hurt. And in the book, it talks how Linda May gets hurt at on the job at one point. And these are the things that were kind of omitted in the film, and that's why I think it's more romanticized. It kind of goes all the way back to romanticizing the idea of being a nomad and how beautiful the life is with the nice cinematography and all that. And even Chloe Zhao said that she really wanted to say like the beautiful side of a nomad life, whether the cinematographer, which is her partner, really argues the opposite way. He says that it's much more political. So it's funny to see how they both have different perspectives on the film, the director and the cinematographer, even though they're partners. So that's really interesting. So those are a little bit of my thoughts on romanticism of the film, but I thought that was a really interesting point.
Yeah. No, I agree. Like I was the first when I saw like working at Amazon and her like all smiley and with the like lunch with like the people she's meeting, it was all nice. And then all I could think about was like the work conditions that some people have to go through, and how some people have to run to even if they want to go for a bathroom break, and that the way that they're just rushing everywhere. I've even heard about like searching it up, other nomads, and how the other jobs that they have to work in like campground hosting or at the amusement park, they got really badly hurt, even though like they're older, like they're of older age, and so they have to work these like very physically like demanding jobs. It's kind of hard to see that. So I agree that they've really definitely romanticized that version of her life. And I've read like Chloe Zhao, like she mostly focused on the human experience, I guess, and the characters that they've met, and she wanted to get away from the political side of it, but you can always find politics and everything. So that's definitely something that I guess it would have been nice that they touched on a little bit more in this film, to show like some of the injuries that some people have to endure. About maybe even Swanky, do you think that's part of why her arm was that way? It's probably like working that way could have been part of that.
Exactly. I feel like that should have been present in the film, because maybe her arm was like that because of it. But I think they focused more on like, paying the bills for the van when it breaks and those kinds of struggles. But yeah, I think that's kind of the romanticized thing that we all go about. But it's also, I think it tries to justify why she wants to live in a nomad life as well. And I think the best way that was portrayed was through the still shots and through the moving shots. And I think one of the most like telling scenes is when she has the opportunity to be a sedentary again, when she meets this man. I don't remember his name.
Is it Dave?
Something like that.
Okay.
He meets this man, and they kind of have a ish romantic relationship, but not really. It's on and off. You don't really know. Yeah. But there's something there, and she has the opportunity to kind of live a sedentary life with him again, like kind of how she did before, and just restart. But there's this really telling shot when she goes into the house of the son of Dave, whatever, and she just sees the stillness in the house. I think that's really telling in the way that the cinematography is done, and just taking every single shot of there's movement in life, but it's all still. It's like the toys of the kid that are just laying on the ground and not being played with because it's really early in the morning, and just the stillness of the couch, the kitchen, and all these things that would be moving, but they're just still at that moment in time. And I think that really made Fern realize that she really needed to still live in the movement and live in constant movement in her life, and not really she couldn't live in the stillness. Basically, she couldn't live in having all these things be around her and having all these possessions and not being able to just move on and move with it. So I think that's why she kind of chooses to live back in the movement and get rid of all her things, which is what she does afterwards. She goes to her past house. She sees how abandoned the city is, and then she just gets rid of all her things that were in a storage room. And yeah, I think that's really telling of just saying how she's still not ready to move on. She just needs to keep moving because she hopefully thinks that that's the way that she'll just move on. I think that was just another romantic way to just justify the reason why she wants to live in a nomad. What did you think about that? Like her justification of being a nomad?
So your justification was that she just needs to keep distracting herself to keep on moving. Okay. I think, there's a part of that she might have just kept distracting herself, moving away from it. But I also think that I found the ending was that she more accepted it. She more accepted that she was able to go back to her home to finally sell away all her belongings from the garage. And like her going back, I remember her talking about the backyard scene, about how it was so open that she could just see from miles and miles away. That I think that meant that she can move past it. Because I think she went back to, was it her brother, or she asked for money from a family member that she went back for her van. So she was able to see that their life of how they talked about real estate, about having to save up all your money and spend it on a house, and how she was very against that idea that there's something always out there. So I think in a way she has accepted that is her life now. Like through the people that she's met, they have impacted her just as much as her past, like her husband and her father. I think they've changed the way that she's looked at life, and how they've like showed her like there is another life out there, with the whole saying that at the end of the film there's a saying, I think it was, I'll meet you down the road, or I'll see you down the road. I think that was just the entire like idea of the film, that you'll see them again, even though you're traveling this large country. You'll see the people again, you'll meet them. So I think it went a whole circle, that she has accepted her past, and she can live with that now.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe it is that. It's hard to say. It's not. There's a lot of shots there. Just I think they're very poetic, and it's really made to tell a story without actually saying anything. And I think those are exactly what it means, and everyone can interpret it in different ways. And I think that's kind of the beauty of it. So, what other themes that really spoke to you through watching the film?
I think you mentioned something about stillness and the part of the cinematography. I was also, when you talked about the scene of Dave's house, I think I also related to the idea of like space in the film, with her always having to move. I think, the house, and when she was sleeping at the parking lot of a gas station nearby, and some lady was telling her like, hey, there's like a bed at this church nearby, but she even refused, even when the temperature was dropping, to just stay in her van and sleep there. Mm-hmm. So I think there's an idea of space, that she can't be confined in this home or in a church. She has to keep on moving. And I think through cinematography there was a lot of like wide shots, and that it was like to show that her exploratory like mindset of that desert scene of her just running away from the group, or that forest of her swimming in the forest, the river, or walking around. So I think I noticed something with cinematography that way, that they tried to show that she's this small person in this big world, but she's able to explore herself like through nature in that way. So
yeah, and I think that really helps her grow. I'm sorry, I've cut you off. Go ahead. No, but I really think that's kind of the whole point. It makes her grow in a different way, makes her live in a way that we don't really think that that's living anymore, but that she's living in the best way that someone could live, which is just embracing nature, embracing the place where she lives. She just has to work sometimes just to get by and to make money for food and for essential needs. But I think that there's kind of a beauty and a wonder and adventuring that way. I don't know if that's really representative of what nomad's life is really about, which is what I still think about the romanticism. Right. I think I would need to listen to more documentaries that really present it in such a real way to actually like believe that it's true and that it works. But maybe it's just like that. But maybe it's just because I haven't really experienced or seen someone in this way. But I think it's really beautiful to see that the wonder of her exploring nature and her and just enjoying it and being in this vastness. And I think that's like one of the major themes that truly comes over and over again. But I think if we're all often going back to the cinematography and how it just speaks so much. So do you think it should have won cinematography? So Mank won the Academy Award for cinematography. But what do you think? Do you think that this cinematography spoke more than in Mank? What do you think?
I still haven't seen Mank, but yeah, I still haven't. But I've heard like a lot of outrage on the internet, of course, about how people are saying like Mank is just black and white, isn't just cinematography, or. But I think there probably was more to Mank than just black and whiteness. But I think it was still a beautiful film. Oh, yeah, you've seen it. What did you think about it?
I've seen it. I mean, I just don't like Mank in general, so I'm just gonna. But without that, I mean, I think there's something powerful in the way the cinematography is used. Because yes, you say that black and white. It's easy to say that black and white isn't cinematography, because black and white is it's a lot different than doing color filming, and it's not something that's done as much today. And with the cameras and technologies that we have today, it's not done as well, and it's not, I don't know how to explain it, it's just not as in depth than it used to be with film cameras. So I think what was interesting in the way that Mank was done versus Citizen Kane is that it really tried to use that very high contrast that Citizen Kane did. Do I think it did the same justice that Citizen Kane had, which it's impressive cinematography that's world renowned to be one of the best cinematographies ever. And it's like, do I think it makes the same justice? No, not at all. I don't think it's at all the same. I think it would have needed the same camera to make that same effect. And I don't think that the contrast was used as much as in Citizen Kane, or if it was used, it wasn't used in the same purpose, in the same way that Citizen Kane was. So overall, I don't think it deserved the award because of that. I think that it was trying to commemorate the cinematography of Citizen Kane. So what I do think, and what I think was the big surprise, is that everyone was expecting cinematography for Nomadland. Like everyone, from all the predictions I've heard, everyone was saying Nomadland. So I think it was a big surprise to a lot of people that Mank won. People were like, what? I watched a bunch of reactions of people afterwards being like, what? Mank won? But all that to say that I think that Nomadland really deserved it, just because we keep telling it over and over again that the shots really tell a story in itself. And if we would watch this movie on mute, we would get a different story through it. And just because of the way that the shots are presented, and it's just so poetic and so well done. So I think that it was probably a close second to what the Academy decided and what we chose. But I think that Nomadland was underestimated for that. But going on to the other Academy Awards that were won. So the Nomadland obviously won Best Picture, was the big winner of the night, which is kind of why we're talking about it today.
Yeah.
So what about Best Picture? They won Best Picture, Best Actress, Best Director. What do you think of those awards? Do you think that these awards were really meant for Nomadland? Do you think that they were worthy of winning these awards?
Yeah, for best directing, I definitely thought Chloe Zhao did an amazing job in this one, even directing like people who have like aren't professional actors in this, and she really she like listened to so many stories before and which one she wanted to feature in this film. So I think she really tried to portray nomad life more authentically, even though we're missing some aspects of it, of course. But I think like she really did like her homework and like trying to like follow people around, having a small crew, and then trying to figure out like the lighting and everything. I also think she's also not even just director, she's written and edited this film. So I think like doing all three of that will also make you a good director, I think, because writing, you start off the film having the idea, directing, you're executing the film, and editing, you're like making the whole cut of the film. So I think she did an amazing job, and it was well deserved for her. But what do you think about best directing for her?
100% deserved. I think she won like 25 awards or something like that, linked through directing this film. So I think that she won the Directors Guild. She won pretty much everything that I can think about. So I think that Chloe Zhao 100% deserved this award. Just the fact that she worked with non-professional actors, and she also picked people that were just there in those locations just to speak on the film. And I think there's a lot of skills in telling people what to do when they don't know what to do. I think that's a big skill, especially when it's non-professional actors. From myself that has worked with non-professional actors, it's very difficult to make something believable and to make something true and unique and full-hearted when it's non-professional actors. But I think the way that it was done in a documentary way, just letting them tell their own stories that were in reality, they're just their real own stories, and helping them direct them to say their own stories in such an authentic, well done way. I think that was so powerful. I think it really made the film because of the way that those stories were told, and because they were just told so organically, so natural. And I think that's a lot of work goes through to the director because of that, just because she was able to tell the actors or the non-professional actors how to tell those stories so that it sounds authentic and to kind of forget the camera, which is something that's very difficult for non-professional actors to do. So I think that was 100% deserved. Yeah.
I'm also seeing, I guess her directorial, like her style, I'm seeing a little bit more of it. It's just very much shooting on location now, because she's coming out with a Marvel movie, Eternals. And
I know. I don't know how that's going to be.
Crazy, but I've heard like
for her big money.
Most of the scenes are like shot on location, which is very different from most of Marvel's CGI green screen movies. So yeah, excited to see how she executes on that one too.
I'm excited because I hate Marvel movies. Like I know put some axes and things. Like, I don't know, kill me for it. Except there's one film I really like of Marvel, and that's Logan, because it was done by, I don't remember the director. Oh my god, I'm bad with these things, but whatever. I don't remember the director, but he was actually like a really good director. He won I think he was nominated for an Oscar for directing. So he was good, and that made the whole film. That made the whole movie so much better than what it should when usual Marvel movies are. So I'm gonna watch this one, because usually I don't really watch Marvel films because I don't enjoy them. I find them very sexist. I find them very exaggerated and just not even entertaining at that point. Just puts me out of the film. But I'm very excited to see this film, just because I'm expecting a lot of heart and a lot of just something very unique coming out of it. So we'll see. And I'm happy for her to gain this kind of contract as woman, making a big blockbuster film such as a Marvel like this. It's a huge accomplishment in the industry. It's very, and especially that she's an Asian woman as well. I think that representation is just so powerful, and I think it'll inspire a lot of young women such as myself.
She made even history with like winning this award too. I didn't even mention that. Yeah, as like a person of color, first person woman of color, and like second woman out of all the years after Catherine Bigelow. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, seeing her win just made me feel so inspired, so motivated to just keep on going with my dreams, and just it made me feel like, okay, I want to write a script, I want to do all these things, and it just made me so excited because it made me feel like if she can do it, I can do it, you know. And behind that, it's just that's exactly what we needed, really. And it's not, she didn't win because she's a woman, which is the most important of all. She won because she deserved it, and I think that was so telling, and that was so well done. I'm very happy for her, and I hope that she keeps coming back again with different films, and I'm very excited to see what she comes up with in the future. So
yeah, you can tell when the internet doesn't like focus on her like gender, that's like, yeah, she truly did deserve it. It's not just because she's a woman. So
yeah,
that's something to see that we changed it up.
Yeah, exactly. I'm very happy.
We had like another Oscar with Best Actress. And your thoughts about this?
Absolutely. So Frances McDormand, I love her. 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri is one of my favorite performances that she has done, and that any actress has done overall in general. I think that that was one of the best performance ever in general. I absolutely loved her. But I came into this movie with high expectations for her performance just because of the way that I saw her win Best Actress in 3 Billboards and how well she had done in that film. But I think she was kind of playing herself in this film. You know, she wasn't playing anyone in particular. She wasn't anyone. I feel like, you know, she wasn't playing anyone special. So I didn't feel like it was necessarily the best win for that, just because I found that she was just playing herself so much. And even she had said that she was playing her 17-year-old self. I think I saw that in an interview. She was just playing her 17-year-old self, but at 61. So I thought that was an interesting way of explaining it. So it's not that I think that her performance was bad. I think that like this category was very hard to predict which one would win, just because they were all good performances, but not outstanding performances. I just didn't think that Frances McDormand's performance was that outstanding to win this award. I think that Carey Mulligan or Viola Davis really deserved that award and had the upper hand, in my opinion. But so it was just a big surprise, and unfortunately her speech was very disappointing. In my opinion, it's like when you win a Best Actress performance, like she had done such an amazing speech for 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, and now that she came out with that, just it was very disappointing seeing that this is an award show that was kind of unprecedented. Like we really didn't expect this award show just to be had done so well and so COVID safe and everything. And I don't know, it was just very disappointing to see it this way, because so many awards this year have been, you know, rather postponed, canceled, or they have been just, you know, from online, you know. So I think that having the Oscars in person like this was just already such a big event, and to end the night on that note was just very disappointing. And you know, we always expect a good speech. Like that's why we watch the Oscars, right? And so it's not that she's a bad actress or anything like that. I really think that just if she were to, because she won this award, I think that she should have really taken it in with a speech. I don't need anything political or anything like that. I think no one wanted to be lectured this year, but I think that it would have been good to just hear her say like why she cared about this award, why she thought it was, why she's happy about winning this. It was kind of just like, I just won, whatever, I don't care, thank you, bye. It was like, oh God, there's so many people that would rather be there in your place and that would want this award, like they would kill for this award, literally. So I thought it was
about like karaoke. Did she mean at the Oscars, or I didn't understand that part. I was like, oh,
I didn't understand anything. I was like, what?
It felt like she already won an Oscar, so it was just like, okay, just another Oscar, I'll just grab it to go off stage. But that's how I feel about it too. Even just the order of the Oscars was very awkward as well, leaving
like freaking Best Director was like at the beginning. I was like, what? Best Director should be like one of the most anticipated awards, one of the most prestigious awards that you can get ever. It's like, why put it at the beginning? I'm not to say that Best Sound, Best Editing, Best Cinematography are not awards that are prestigious, and they are very prestigious, but it's just, I think that Best Director, there's a lot of expectation for this award, and there's a lot of people that dream for this award. I mean, not to say that people don't dream for Best Editing, Best Cinematography, and all these other awards. It's just that I think that Best Director is very anticipated, and people are very excited about it. So I think that it was weird, the order. I hated that they finished with the actors, because in my opinion, the actors are very great. They're very good, but they are not the movie. And I think Best Picture should definitely be the last thing that you should announce should be Best Picture, not the actors, because the actors are, not to be mean, but they're less important than the movie as a whole. So I think that representing the actors at the end is kind of saying like, oh, you're watching this movie because Anthony Hopkins was in it, because Chadwick Boseman was in it, because Frances McDormand was in it, because Viola Davis was in it, but you're not watching the film because you're watching the movie. And I thought that was kind of like discrediting of the movie, you know? It's kind of saying you're watching the movie because Tom Cruise is in it, you know? Like, it's kind of saying like, it's just so, that's not what art is supposed to be. That's not what the film industry is supposed to be. It's supposed to, it's a celebration about movies, not about the actors only. It's a celebration about all the work that's being done. So I think that having it as having the actors at the end really gave that negative effect, at least on my end. What did you think?
Yeah, I totally agree with everything you said. Even they omitted they had clips before of like introduction, like short clips of the movie, short clips of actors acting, and they didn't have any of that this year, which I thought like Oscars are like everybody would tune in. So I think even if you're not like watching the film, even if you're just like a regular viewer, to just watch like a short clip of like somebody acting, you would be interested to watch that movie later. So I think that's something else that the Oscars like should have had in their like award show.
Yeah.
And then ending the night with the DJ concluding the show. I was all over the place. I was like, him out of everybody you've just had as hosts to end the film, end the night that way. It was a weird night. It was
a weird night. But I mean, I really loved the night at the beginning because it really took out the glamour of Hollywood that we all expect and that we all love, but it really took it out. And I thought that was very well done just by telling the stories of Chloe Zhao, how she interacted with this film, how she got into the industry, how Florian Zeller got into the industry, how all these people that like just telling the stories of these people and how they got this achievement, how they got this place in sitting at the Oscars was just so inspiring. It took out the glamour of it all, and it made it feel like people are able to achieve their dreams in this industry. It really gave that dream factor that I love so much. It just degenerated with the way that they made the order of the awards, but I really loved the way that they started the night by just telling the stories of the people writing these stories, and I think that was so powerful and so well done on the Oscar side. I'm just excited for next year though, because I love the glamour still. I still love the glamour. I love the glitz and the glam, but I really hope that they continue in the future to just add a little bit of stories into there and inspire young filmmakers to keep doing what they're doing. Yeah.
It was a lot of good movies this year, and especially like Nomadland just coming on top out of it. But yeah, excited to see what next awards shows happen, like all the kinds of movies we're going to be seeing, and all the stories are going to be being told.
Yeah, absolutely. It's gonna be different Oscars just because there's so many anticipated movies that are gonna come out because they didn't come out in 2020 nor 2021. So, or maybe in 2021, we don't know yet. But it's gonna be a very big anticipated Oscars, I'm sure. But unfortunately, I think it's gonna take away the spot for independent films to be recognized. It's gonna really take a little bit more some Hollywood films into there, and it's not really gonna talk about movies like Another Round and movies like they're just less big. They're just going to talk more about these bigger films, these films that have a little bit more publicity, more money, more of all that glam. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen though. But it's gonna be good. It's gonna be a good one. I'm excited. Hopefully that Dune will be good and that it might be nominated. Who knows? I'm very highly anticipating this movie. And also the new Top Gun, but I don't think that's going to be nominated. I'm excited because I love Top Gun. We'll see how it goes. But yes, Best Picture was won by Nomadland. It was a great pick. It was very expected, and I think everyone was kind of expecting it. If it were you, what did you think? Did you think that Nomadland should have won? Do you think that something else should have won? What do you think?
It's so hard to just pick like the one movie because there's just so many good ones. But personal favorite. I really did like Minari. It was I enjoyed that film as well. But I think like I'm happy either way. Nomadland. Even Promising Young Woman is a long shot, but like still a great film. So I know you like the father,
The
but
father.
the father.
Father. But
Yeah.
speaking of father, this will probably be our next talk in 2 weeks from now. So stay tuned for the father. Did you have anything else you wanted to add on our discussion of Nomadland, or are we closing this off?
I think, yeah, we're all good. I said what I need to say. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, everyone, for watching. If you're watching this afterwards, you can still comment below on what your thoughts of Nomadland was. If you haven't seen it yet, but you've watched all of this, I mean, you kind of were spoiled. But you can watch it on Disney Plus. It's a really great film if you haven't seen it yet. So I still recommend that you watch it. And yeah, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. We'll definitely interact with you. And so thank you everyone for watching. Stay tuned for the next one. Bye.
Bye.